Hello, and welcome to another episode of Wheel of Horror, the podcast where two best friends spin a wheel every day in the month of October, watch a movie, and discuss it. Today we're talking about the 1968 film Rosemary's Baby, which was directed by Roman Polanski. I am your co-host Alec,
I'm Erik.
and this is a
What you
great
got? What you got? Say what you got.
No, dude, this was honestly the movie that I was looking, I think, the most forward to watching of any of the movies on the wheel, because I saw this movie when I was probably about, I'm not kidding, 8 or 9 years old.
You saw this at 8 or 9 years old?
My mom went through this weird phase where she was like, I'm gonna let my kids watch like The Exorcist, The Omen, and Rosemary's Baby pretty much all around age 8, 9, 10, right around that area. I 100% watched this movie before I was 10 years old.
Can I throw a curveball at you right now?
Yeah.
This was the first time I've seen this movie
I,
in
I
its
thought that
entirety.
was the case. Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen
Especially-
bits and pieces, obviously, like famous clips of it, but never the full movie. I knew how it ended. I knew like it was spoiled for me, but
I want to hear your point of view on everything then first, because this is like your first time, so let's go.
how do I start? I was interrupted while watching this movie like 20 times. Every time I like sat, I made popcorn. It was during the day. It's my day off of work. And dude, people were knocking. The mailman came at the door. I ordered food, got food. People were calling me. It took me like 4 hours to finish this 2 hour and 16-minute film. And I think it took away from it. But I usually take notes during these movies too. This is the first movie I haven't taken notes because I was so watching it. I was
Okay.
watching it the whole time fully. And also, it felt very timeless to me. It felt like this movie could exist today. The only thing that makes it feel old is not the way it's shot. The way it's shot is amazing. The fashion and the old kitchen is the only thing that make it feel dated. It feels like a brand new movie to me. It really does. Yeah, it really does, dude. It really, I mean
Oh,
that.
I could not disagree more, dude. This movie feels like a perfect encapsulation of the 1960s to me. You've got, I mean, everybody smoking cigarettes. Yeah, you're right. The kitchen, the hairstyle. They've got an elevator attendant. Everybody's hailing taxis. It's
Right, yeah. I'm not saying that. I'm saying the movie, like the way it's shot, the way I'm going to see this movie, the way I'm watching it, felt very well paced
okay.
and very like it wasn't like an old movie. It felt very. It could have came out last week. It just felt like there's parts in the movie like cigarettes, elevator attendant, stuff like that that made it outdated.
Well, we just came off of watching Night of the Living Dead, which came out in the same year. So, yeah, you look at 1968 through that lens versus this lens. Those are like, could not be more different films from the same year. But this movie, man, this is one of those movies similar to The Exorcist. It's not as in your face about it, but it really does a good job of setting the mood and making you feel uneasy the whole time, just like The Exorcist. And then the climax at the end and everything like that. To me, this is a film that makes you probably feel the most vulnerable you could ever feel. Is just the way that Rosemary's treated, how she has no control of anything she's doing. Everybody's walking her through everything. Everybody's feeding her. She can't do anything on her own. She can't even pick her doctor without this lady just doing it for her immediately. She didn't even have a choice. So
Yeah, it definitely had the same I not premise, but idea of the witch, where the young girl, the woman has a lot going for her and is tempted by the devil and eventually gives in because she has no other option.
she's not though. She's not tempted by the devil. Her husband is, and she's just like an innocent bystander. I feel like.
Well, at the end of the movie, spoiler, if anyone's listening doesn't want to ruin the ending, she joins the occult at the end and starts rocking the cradle.
Yeah.
She gives in.
She does, but I would think of it in the same way that, like, she's like, "Okay, if I fight them right now and they kill me and they take my baby, or I try to play their game, learn their weaknesses to in the future be able to try and escape with the baby." That's what I'm thinking she's is going.
That's a great yeah, you have a very optimistic approach for Rosemary.
Oh, what would you
She
do?
she'll also lose her husband.
Fuck that guy, dude.
Oh, that guy's he's the reason. He's the absolute reason this has all happened.
He's a great actor, and I love watching him. I'm just like, but that scene right at the end too is just like he's got his father's eyes, and you see him in the background, and he's like holding his face, looking down. You're like, this dude knows he's a piece of shit deep down.
I kind of lost what happened. So he really didn't want to go see these older neighbors
All
at
right,
the
come
beginning of
at
the
me,
movie.
come at me. Yeah, you asked me.
Yeah. So I got a little not lost in the plot, but lost at like what happened.
Okay.
So guy Rosemary says, "Hey, we got these neighbors. They invited us over for dinner." He is so not interested in going over.
Mm-hmm.
they go over and he's talking to Steven is his name, the Castor-Vets
Yeah,
guy.
oh, it's Roman. His name is Roman, but
His name's Roman, but yeah, later you'd find out he's actually Steven. But so
yeah,
Roman he's
Mikado.
talking to. Right, right, right. He's talking to him and they hit it off, right? And where did I miss the part where he tells him like, "Hey,
Okay.
I'll make you famous. I'll make you."
So you don't see that scene, but I'll kind of walk you through at least what I think. So Rosemary meets the young girl in the basement, and I feel like she was the one that was initially being prepped to be, the
The
pregnant.
mother,
Yeah,
yeah.
and I don't know what else was happening with that. That could be an interesting prequel, whatever. So she dies. Something went wrong. Maybe she killed herself. Who knows?
Definitely not. Definitely they found Rosemary and they saw her and like, "Nope, her instead."
Maybe, maybe.
I think.
So that happens, and then you see the scene, yeah, where Rosemary's like, "Oh, we'll go to dinner." Like they just seem like nice neighbors. Let's just go and whatever. Like that would probably happen if that was that situation. But the husband's like, "I don't want to fucking do this." And then you see the scene where they go in there and like whatever, the husband's having a fine time. But then they start talking and they go in the room or whatever, and you see Rosemary and the older lady talking, and he comes in there and you see a look on Guy's face where he's just kind of like looking in the distance where he's just like he just got told something very like, hey, by the way, like I can make all of your dreams come true, like I am this person, because he's just looking away like holy shit. And then he wants to go back and he wants to hear more. You don't see it, you're right, but I do know for a fact that
In that 10-minute conversation or not even.
he must have explained something or proven some way being like, "I can make your dreams come true. I can do this voodoo on your rival actors and make your parts come true. All you need to do is just give me your firstborn child. That's all you have to do, and I'll make everything come true." And instead, he knows Rosemary isn't gonna agree to this, so he's like, "I'll just manipulate her, and I'll play ball with you guys."
Well, then he's a true piece of shit for putting his wife's life in danger and the child for his own. So he's the most selfish
Uh,
person on the planet then.
he's literally the most selfish person on the planet. Who fuck, whatever. Rosemary, that does suck. She's an innocent bystander. He just brought the Antichrist into the world.
Yeah.
Be a fucking actor.
And it's just Broadway. It's just like a random play.
No, 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 no. That's the whole joke of the movie is that he's not this big actor. It's like, oh, they keep saying, oh, he's in Luther and all these other like things. It's like,
But
okay,
doesn't he get that big role with the crutches and stuff? It just sounds like
that's
another Broadway play, right? Or
no, that's they yeah, but this is like that's a big break, and that's what he
okay,
needed.
okay. I thought he was
So
just getting some random role in a random Broadway play still.
no, because then at the end they say Paramount and Universal are fighting over me. So that was like so the
Ah.
dream he sees the deals coming true, all this stuff, and you're just like, oh shit. So this guy, yeah, he literally rats out his wife, rats out his kid, and the world by unleashing the Antichrist in the world so that he can be an actor. Like that is
Selfish
uh
101.
yeah. Like literally the word. It's like, hey man, like if you help me, like I can release this cure for cancer and stuff like that. Like, no, you want to be a famous actor. That's why you unleash the Antichrist in the world. Like, fuck you.
Yeah, yeah.
But still, love that actor. I think he did a great job. You can see the kind of like the scumminess of him hiding stuff with his fingernails. He's like, I know, I already cut him, like stuff like that. Like he's deep in this lie, dude.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, he really is, especially that. Yeah. Oh, I know what you're gonna say. I already filed them down, like his
Yeah.
nails. Do you think those initial, they've been drugging everyone too? Like Rosemary's constantly drugged with that tenant root smoothie every morning or
Mhm.
whatever, and they give them what was it, vodka blushes at the beginning of when they came over.
Yeah.
Do you think that at all enticed Guy? Do you think that had something to do with why he gave in so easily?
Maybe. I mean, they don't really go into it, but I mean, maybe there was something that would like loosen them up more than alcohol.
Yeah, I
I'm not
think
really
that they gave him the blush and he had a little extra and he already went down that path and sure he was under the influence, but he went down that path and then he stayed with it because
yeah,
things started happening to him. He got the role.
he wanted it.
Yeah, I would like to believe that they tempted him like he was I mean it's all trickery. That's what it is in the end of the day, but he was definitely under an influence before he committed, I think.
It's just like in The Witch Man when Black Phillip is talking to, Thomasin or whatever and being like, "Hey, you need to" it's like, "I'll give you this.
Thomason, yeah.
Sign this and give me that." It's the
Right.
same thing. So he's being enticed with the thing he wants the most. He's then proven that he's gonna get it because she gets, the other guy gets blinded, Donald, so he does get the role. So he's like, "Oh shit, this is real. Okay, yes, I'm 100% on board with these stupid witches. Let's fucking make this happen. Fuck my wife and the baby. I don't care." He was the Yamaha commercial guy, and so I looked it all up. The guy's 40 years old. I don't know if the character's 40, but the actor's 40. So if he hasn't had a big break or anything like that, like he's clinging on to little roles that he's had in his past. So he needs this break, and this witch coven sees that. But anyway,
Yeah,
so
he also admits to marital rape
yeah,
in the morning when she's all like cut up by his fingernails,
I
which
know.
obviously aren't his. She's like, I don't even remember last night. She was, oh, you passed out, and then I had my way with you, kind of thing.
He's like, I was a little loaded too. It's like it doesn't.
That's rape,
Yeah, yeah.
marital rape, but
But
that's not okay.
no, no, yeah. So I
So,
mean, but it's all part of the witch's thing. They're like, you need to get her pregnant now, and
oh yeah, he said I didn't want to miss baby night. It's like that's how you want to conceive your baby
yeah, yeah.
too. Like, geez, like that. There's some dark shit that happens in this
Well,
movie,
look who wrote and directed it.
right?
We're
Roman
not
Polanski,
we're
yeah.
not that far off from Creeper fucking guy. But yeah, man, this movie, especially since this is like your first time watching it, I've seen it, I want to say I've probably seen it 5 or 6 times throughout my whole life. And this every time you watch it now knowing that guy is part of it, it really adds a whole nother layer that this movie deserves second, third watchings 100% to appreciate
Yeah,
every
I'd love to. It gives a lot of mystery. You never see the baby.
no.
You never see that, and you never see that conversation between Guy and probably the devil itself.
Maybe. Dude, that scene scared the
It's pretty
shit out of
scary,
me.
dude. It's pretty scary.
And it's so weird because it feels exactly like a dream where they're on the boat and it's like, sorry, we can't bring him. It's like only Catholics. Like it's just weird little things. And the mouse, remember that line, dude? This is so fucking good. Where she says, yeah, Minnie says it's the mouse. Like she pronounces moose mouse when he says that line. Remember that?
No, what's that?
Okay,
Say that
okay.
again.
So the line where, the first time when Minnie brings the chocolate mousse up and you see Rosemary sitting in the kitchen, she's like, "Please don't come up here, please don't come up here." And Guy goes down there and he's like, "Yeah, yeah, we'll see you later." And comes up, it's like, "Hey, Minnie made chocolate mousse for us," or she calls it mouse, and then puts it down and she starts eating it. And then the dream that is induced by whatever was in that, and they keep saying,
Yep.
"I heard you were bit by a mouse. I heard you were bit by a mouse." It's like, oh, that's so brilliant.
Whoa. Okay. So it was in the moose.
Well, yeah, the poison that made her get passed out, and then they did the whole ritual rape thing, but the fact that they just make that little line, that guy says, "Yeah, she says mouse instead of moose," and that little subconscious thing sticks in her mind and then is part of the dream sequence. I think that is so brilliant. I don't know if that's from the
Yeah.
book, I don't know if it's in the book, or if that was Roman Polanski who put it in there, but,
Shit.
ugh, that's
It's messed
so
up. It's dark.
yeah, because they keep saying, "You got bit by a mouse," and, like, oh, it's just I don't know, I really
I
love it.
like I like the doctor part too. Like she goes to a doctor that you think is good, and then
Silverstein?
oh man, that whole scene is so awesome. That's great. She switches doctors, and the first doctor seemed good, but he's in on it too.
I don't think he's in on it. I don't think Hill's in on it. I think Hill respects Silverstein.
His superiors, right? He's a superior doctor to
Alright,
him.
so this is what I think about that. In New York, I think there's like a tight, especially in the '60s, there would have been a tight knit of like, "Oh, he's like a really well-renowned doctor in Manhattan, like blah, blah, blah." I think that if it got out that Rosemary's patient left him and came to
And
his
went to
doctor
yep.
and he didn't say anything, then I think it would have hurt his career. I
He
don't
probably would have lost his doctor's license, all
yeah,
kinds of shit. Yeah, no,
I
I can totally and like instead, like, hey, we're gonna take care of her, and
yep.
she's having some
If she
depression
never
thing in
if she never went to Silverstein or whatever his name is in the beginning, I don't even think that this would have ever happened. I think Hill was a normal doctor. I don't think he's bad, but I think he was like, "Okay, this girl's a little
Yeah,
crazy."
when he finds out who her new doctor is, he's like, "Oh shit, like I need to loop him in," kind of
Yeah,
thing.
and I don't think it's an evil
No,
thing. I
that's a
think
good point. I thought he might have been a part of the coven, but I guess not.
no, because he's
So,
like, "Let me hold on to this book." And it's just like because then it could be like, she came in here with this book ranting about witchcraft and stuff, and I was like, I gotta call her husband." Like, that's probably what was going
well,
through
he
his head.
probably he had like an aha moment. Now thinking about it, he's like, "Oh yeah, this adds up." Yeah, like he's like, "I'm gonna hold on to this book and do more research on why this doctor is as good as he is with his old fashioned like you don't need to take pills, you don't need to do this, just drink these smoothies.
Yeah, no one's gonna say that. Like, that's crazy.
The pain will go away in 2 days." How?
I think the Tannis root was causing the pain, because then well, I don't know actually, because it was weird. It was like all of a sudden when they're fighting, it just like the baby, like, I don't know, just was like, "I'm gonna stop scratching her womb to shit now." Like,
And I gotta give a lot of kudos to both Mia Farrow and also the makeup artist or costume for Mia Farrow when she's looking like she's in pain.
oh, yeah.
It felt real. Dark circles under her eyes, she looked like she literally lost another 10 pounds, and then she's a very small woman, and then it goes into the later, like instantly she's like, oh, the pain went away, and all of a sudden she's flush and her
Mm.
cheekbones are thick again.
Yeah.
And how the hell did they pull that off?
I think it's just great makeup and, maybe she had, like, a girdle on or something like that when she was in those scenes to make her look even thinner. I don't know. I have no idea, but
I wouldn't be surprised if they shot all that, they reversed it, like shot all of her heavy and lost weight, or shot all the skinny scenes first and then had her gain weight for the other. Like, it's pretty crazy how much of a weight. It's like freaking Christian Bale style, dude.
yeah, I don't know enough about the behind the scenes of this movie to, like,
But it's
really
the same
confirm.
movie. It's not like Dark Knight to, where he loses weight and gains. It's the same movie, lost and gained weight.
I honestly, man, I don't know, but I don't think she lost weight for this. I think they just did very good cheekbone makeup, and they made her look pale with makeup, and I'm assuming.
Yeah, kudos to the makeup then.
Yeah, I wouldn't, because she was already very thin to begin with, so they're like, "Listen, for this scene, we need you to lose 10 more. We know you're 15 pounds underweight already, but you need to lose another 10." Like, I can't.
Dude, yeah.
But yeah, and I mean, they're saying, they're like, "She looks like a piece of chalk," and, like, stuff like that,
Yeah.
and then all like, Hutch or whatever, her friend is saying things like, "You don't look right," and, like, all this
And
stuff.
she gets the haircut, which makes her look a little
Chic.
sicker, I guess.
Oh, she looks chic.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what she's going for, but yeah, but the her getting sick with the haircut, it makes it look like, "What's wrong?"
Like you're losing hair almost. It looks like you're losing hair more than you
Yeah.
cut it yourself. I guess it gives that like quick, what happened to your hair? Kind of with her being chalky.
Well,
So,
Mia Farrow, just where do you think she's from?
like country wise,
Yeah.
I mean, I'd imagine Europe or America.
For some reason, because she says basil, she calls it basil. So I was like, "Oh, maybe she must be British," and she kinda has, like, a little bit, like, weird accent, so I was like, "Yeah, there's no way she's American," and they say in the movies like, "Well, I'm from Omaha, and Guy's from Maryland," or whatever, and you're just I looked her up, I was like, "Where the fuck's this lady from?" She was born in Los Angeles, but
Yeah, I'd imagine that.
her mom is from Ireland and her dad was from Australia, so they must have created this, like, weird accent because she doesn't sound like American, I don't think, and maybe I'm crazy.
Huh. Well, I would imagine Roman Polanski working with a lot of friends and stuff. So LA sounds about right. Like I'm sure the whole movie's full of LA people.
No, I mean, it is a big time movie, but I just was like, "Where the hell is Mia Farrow from?" Because I did not think she was American the entire time, and then I looked it up, and yeah, she was.
Wasn't she dating
She was married to Frank Sinatra, and then she was, I don't know, married or dated Woody Allen for a
Yeah,
while.
that's what I was gonna say. It's Frank Sinatra. Didn't he divorce her while she was making this movie? Wasn't he's like, I don't want you doing this movie? She's like, I'm doing it because I could win the Oscar. And then he's like gave her divorce papers.
That sounds
Like,
familiar, actually. I don't know, but he was also like 30 something years her senior.
yeah,
We were just
yeah,
like,
yeah.
okay. Yeah, man. She's had a pretty I don't know much about her, but like, her whole personal life seems very strange.
Very Hollywood.
Yeah.
Like I think of this movie too, and I think of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, the new Leonardo DiCaprio, Brad Pitt, Margot Robbie movie, and Leonardo DiCaprio lives next door to Roman Polanski, and it's
Yeah.
the whole Manson murder stuff. But that I always think, oh man, it gives an outside perspective of while this movie was being made, this is kind of how Hollywood was, and
I don't know if he was at a screening or if I think I could be screwing this up 100%, but I believe they were premiering this movie in Paris, and then that's when the murders take place at his house.
yeah,
And that's when, his wife and the
it's
baby brother.
Polanski's house. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was Sharon Tate, and
I could be totally wrong. I probably am, but I think he was away at a movie premiere at least, and that's why he wasn't there during the murders, but yeah, just a messed up thing.
Polanski's still kicking, right? He's still alive.
He is not allowed in the United States. He's still making movies though. Actually, that's the thing. I don't wanna support this guy even though he is like a
Yeah, it's
filmmaker, but I watched, Venus and Fur. He did a film that I liked the play, so I was like, "Oh, I'll watch the movie version of this," and I didn't realize he directed it, but it's actually very good as well. But,
well, he's a known rapist and
yeah,
of young underage
mhm,
women
mhm,
and girls,
okay.
and his movies involve rape. So
Yeah, I don't
it doesn't
yeah.
it correlates. You know what I mean?
Just yeah, like, there's some scenes where you're just like, "Okay, the necrophilia stuff and then graphic rape," and there's just yeah, you're right, you're like,
Yeah,
"I bet this guy's watching."
yeah. There's definitely a dark side of him, and I've seen his movie Tess, which is a great movie from 1979. I think it's
Mm.
about like a girl who like one small thing, like picking up a coin in the street, changes her entire life.
Hmm.
and she goes into drugs. The choices we make can have this almost like a butterfly effect, and that movie was cool too. But yeah, they're good movies. But man, it's
Yeah,
like Michael Jackson scenario. It's like I like Michael Jackson's music, but you know what I
yeah.
mean.
This
It's kind of
guy's
like
he's a scumbag. I mean, we shouldn't give him any more attention, honestly. Fuck him.
yeah, yeah, no more.
But this movie though, the acting is yeah, you're right, unbelievable with Mia Farrow. I think the woman that plays the older lady and the guy who plays Roman, those guys, older couple, they're fantastic, so believable. But yeah, they say they're like, "Oh, you would never suspect Dr. Silverstein. He looks so unsuspecting." I'm like, "Really? That guy looks creepy as fuck, and his voice is actually scary."
Yeah, I looked up the woman who played Minnie. Her name's
Oh,
Ruth
Minnie,
Gordon.
that's it.
Yeah, she just had quite the career. She passed away in 1985 at the age of 88, and
Oh,
yeah, she's born in 1800s, dude. It's like wow.
we're in the 1800s?
Yeah, born October 30th, 1896.
Whoa! Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, isn't that crazy to think about? Like, oh man,
damn. Yeah, because this movie came out in '69 or '68, so yeah, damn.
yeah, her first film was 1915, so it's like holy shit.
Wow.
It's like it's one of those things you think like, whoa, what a small world, but at the same time, like, man, time is a thing that doesn't wait up either.
Yeah, jeez. No, it really does. Their apartment though, there's how the hell do they afford that?
Yeah,
He's like, "Yeah, I'm a struggling actor, I'm doing Yamaha commercials, I'm not getting a lot of work. My wife also doesn't work, and now we have this humongous apartment in Manhattan."
sounds like House Hunters. Seems normal to me.
Like House Hunters?
Yeah, you watch House Hunters, like, hey, I do pottery, and my husband doesn't work, and our budget is 1.3 million. It doesn't make any sense, but
I
yeah.
do pottery?
Yeah, you ever see like, dude, you ever watch House Hunters?
No, I haven't watched House
I
Hunters.
don't know how these people afford anything, but yeah, like,
Okay.
yeah,
Well, this
how
guy,
does
I mean, he has money from
yeah,
that.
you're in that business, you do voiceover work,
Yeah.
you don't have enough money to freaking buy a
No.
full 16-room cologne like, awesome apartment in New York,
I don't
like
know what this guy's done, but I've done a lot of commercials and a lot of voiceover work, but this I couldn't afford anything even close to
like,
that.
add inflation in, still no, but, like, like
Yeah, that's it's a huge apartment in a great area. They've got elevator attendants. Like, yeah, that's a very expensive apartment. But regardless, good for them. They're killing it. He's also another huge age gap, which you don't notice when you're watching it.
I didn't register that either,
What is
but
it about old movies where like the guy is so much older and you don't even notice? It's so weird.
I
Like
didn't I could tell, like, he was older, but 20 he's supposed to be 26 years older than her?
Mia Farrow was 24 when they filmed this movie, and the guy, Nick whatever was, he was 40 years old. Yeah, he's 40 years old, so she was 24. I'm sorry, 16 years. 16 years.
Okay, yeah, okay. Still, that's a gap.
Yeah, I mean, that's not a huge gap, but it's still like, yeah, I feel like if you watch a movie now with like a 24-year-old and then there's a 40-year-old, like you'd be like, this looks off. It just looks.
Yeah. Did you think of the, Good Luck Charm? That whole thing.
That's creepy as fuck. It's like there's like, oh, it's over 300 years old and it's got this smelly weed
Sure.
in it.
It smells like shit, though.
I don't know. Some people probably don't like sage, and that's supposed to be
I
like,
don't care if it's good luck or not. If it's a rotting rabbit's foot and it stinks, I'm not wearing it.
yeah, but it
You know what I
shows
mean?
Rosemary's lack of her, like, self-confidence to be like, "Hey, I'm not doing this," or "I'm not drinking this." She gets bullied into everything, so she
Well,
doesn't come
she's
along.
super naive.
Yeah, she's young, she's 24. I mean,
It's like,
she's
"Oh, this is good luck, but it smells awful. I'll wear it." And the last girl who wore this fell 6 floors
mhm.
and died or killed
Well,
herself apparently,
I
and
think
this was hers. I'll wear it still. What?
the reason it smells is so it can come back later, though, where they say, "Oh, Dr. Silverstein has this stuff all over her house."
Yeah,
So I think that's the reason why they have to mention that, I guess,
it's
but
part of the coven. The people in the coven wear it. It's a fungus, right? It's not. Well,
Mhm.
tannis root isn't real. That's
No,
a fake thing.
it's called devil's fungus in that
It's a
book.
fungus. Yeah, it
The
must
ritual.
stink.
Yeah, probably smells real bad. Another thing too, the witch coven's naked. We've been seeing a lot of naked witches.
A lot. Yeah, a lot of naked. Well, witches. I read something where naked is unpure. It's not God's way. It's not covering up. It's not the way it's supposed to be. So naked is more devilish, I guess.
Hmm. That's yeah, I don't know. I mean,
It's a religious thing, and going against God is being naked.
they're naked during that ritual though, and yeah, guy is like watching him. He's just like her eyes are open. She can
A
tell.
lot of old naked people.
Yeah,
A
yeah,
lot of old. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, this movie really is about a cult and trying to resurrect Satan, and it definitely kicked off the spark with like The Exorcist and The Omen and all of those demon movies basically that came out in the 70s. This definitely kicked that off.
I'll say this too. I mean, it made me think. It
About
made me
what?
think. I mean, it's just one of those movies. Like I watch Donnie Darko, and I watch it, and I'm like, oh man, this. No, I don't think it's the best movie ever, but it really makes me think. I watched this movie, and I'm like, this one afterwards, I'm thinking about, why do they involve the Pope in this movie? Like, it has thoughts of religion and temptation, and it's thought provoking. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure. I think you 100% need to rewatch it because if you were watching it broken up, you're gonna miss little things like
Yeah, I
that.
did. I think that hurt me watching this for the
Yeah.
first time.
And then having Hutch right in that beginning scene talking about the, apartment building they're gonna move into and just, like, the
Yep.
history of what happened there, like, that happens so quick, and you're like, "Oh," if you're not really just, like, sitting there, like, paying attention, you'd be like, "Oh, they're just giving some meaningless dialogue," but, that's
Yeah.
pretty goddamn important.
Another thing I loved is the Scrabble. You see them playing Scrabble at one
Yeah,
point in the movie, and then she uses Scrabble to figure out the anagram of the name is an anagram, and she thinks it's the name of the book at first, but it's actually Roman.
yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, no, there's so many little things that just make this movie, yeah, like,
There's a
awesome.
lot of mystery too. You don't see the baby, you don't see this, and you don't find out what's in that last chapter of that book.
Mm,
I wonder if that last chapter has all the answers. Because remember the guy takes the book away. She's like, I had one more chapter to read. I'm like, oh, what's in that last chapter?
yeah. Oh, no, the
Yeah, so
murder, yeah, no, the
the
husband
book that Hutch gave her, and
yeah.
she's like, I wanted to read the last chapter, and it's like, oh, I wonder if that has the answers to saving her,
Mm.
and bringing the baby back to normal. Obviously, I don't think the baby would come back to normal, but
Well, do you know about
what?
the sequel?
No, I never. No, dude, no, not at all.
You wanna hear about it really quick?
Yeah, sum it up real quick.
Really quick, so I'll tell you the sequel. So it's called, Look What's Happened to Rosemary's Baby, and basically it is essentially The Omen. She does steal, the baby when he's 7 years old, and they escape, and the husband's, like, a big time actor, and Minnie and all of them are alive, and it came out in the '70s. It came out in '76, the same year as The Omen, and apparently it's awful. It was a TV movie on ABC, and the only person that came back was, Minnie. Yeah, Minnie was the only one that came back, so apparently, it's really bad. I think Rosemary dies. The baby's name is Adrian. He survives and has a child of his own and becomes Rosemary's grandbaby. It gets ridiculous. So
Yeah,
I haven't seen it. I don't want to see it.
I'm all right. Was this a instant hit when it came out?
Not Exorcist big, but this was it. I think the budget was 3 million and it made 33 million. I think. Yeah, it was $3.2 million and made 33 million in the box office. So in 1969, that's big. That's real big. That's what 10 times his budget.
Sounds about right. I
So
mean,
that
there's not a ton of Academy Award nominations. I think the woman who played Minnie won for Best Supporting Actress, and then Roman Polanski was nominated for Best Screenplay based off of the book,
mhm.
but was nominated. He didn't win, but the one Academy Award from this movie was the woman who played Minnie.
This movie, I think it paved the way for what horror films could become because then you get The Exorcist and then The Omen, so they start to see cinematic elements in horror films, and
Yeah,
this was a nice way of bridging the gap of being like, "Hey, this is like a really well shot dramatic film, but also is very scary."
yeah. It's
So
like horror movies can be more than just entertaining scare in the theater. They could be masterpieces.
mhm, and I think this does
So
that, last, like, that
sure.
opening shot, man, that
Yeah.
I wanna know how they got that, where it just pans the whole like, it looks like a drone or a helicopter shot,
I
but
would imagine a
it's
blimp.
maybe.
It's very slow moving.
Yeah, it's too steady, and it's in the middle of nowhere, it seems like. I wonder if it's a crane on a building
It could be that, but it's
or
really high up, dude. That's tall. I think a blimp could get that like shot, like if you're watching a football game and you see a slow moving shot of a stadium, a
yeah,
blimp could get that shot.
it's New York City, though, bruh.
But yeah, I love the la la the song at the beginning. That's Mia Farrow. She sings
Yeah.
that.
Yep.
I looked that up.
Alright, man, well, why don't we spin that wheel?
Let's spin the wheel. Yeah, this was a heavy one. I feel like this
Mm.
Rosemary's Baby, but I enjoyed talking about it.
Longest movie, on the whole thing?
All right, spinning, spinning away.
Eyes.
The Ring.
Oh, we got a guest for that one, Zach Simpson.
Oh, Zach Simpson. Where is he right now? How the hell are we gonna do this?
He's in Fairbanks. Yeah, we're gonna have to oh, boy, I don't even know, man. He's
It's
in
gonna be like a 2 a.m. my time, 4 p.m. his time. You're in LA. That's like
well,
the
it's
whole. Continental US right there, buddy.
Well, it's Tuesday here, so it's probably Friday his time now. All right. Okay.
Oh, I can't
Perfect.
wait.
I'm gonna call Zach right now, and we will see you all tomorrow for The Ring.
Woo!